Interesting. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Really? Still going with this? Okay.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Don't know what that means.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The door on his left, eh? I'm gonna go the right again.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No.
Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to... But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Stanley did not.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay, that's a thing. Alright, what is down here? Oh, is that a way out? Can we get down there? Penalty for misuse, cargo lift $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the lift, 5,000. Jump off the runway causes death. Okay. There's no jump button, is there? Oh, there's a duck button. Haven't tried any of these other buttons.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Okay.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Okay, alright, I'll do the red door. I'm coming back to do the blue door.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for?
What happens? Oh, okay. What is this?
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy.
Where did the
I
door go?
actually feel happy.
Okay. Kind of tempted to just stay and see what happens. Is it going to create an image in the sky? Or is it just going to turn into just a wall of white? Okay. Oh, oh. Okay, that's cool. Very pretty. It's like fireworks going down. Okay, so we've got a white thing up in the sky, colored things falling around. Okay. All right. Well, that's gone. Now it's green ones. All right, we're gonna play this out and see what happens. I'm curious. It's weird. Those dots, I suppose, are meant to be stars, are moving in non-conforming ways. Oh, there's red behind the green. Are they gonna fade up, or what are we doing here? Oh. Apparently that's gonna fill the screen with pinky reds. Fluffy. They're kind of like clouds, like neon fairy floss. Like, it's like a lava lamp in the sky. Okay, all the green is gone. Now what? Yep, looks like a lava lamp. Now what? I'm thinking that this won't last forever. I mean, it is pretty. Music is quite ethereal, but it's not changing. What's the purpose of this? Well, it's ending. Do we wait for see if there's another one afterwards? Maybe a blue one? We've had green. We've had red. We've had white. Oh, all the stars are fading away. Okay. It looks like an eyeball. We're gonna do that again. Okay. Let's see what happens.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Away.
Right. Where were we?
Oh, this could be funny.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay. No. What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here. Are you... You are going to stay here, aren't you?
I'm gonna drive the narrator mad.
You heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you?
I think he's given up. Okay. We are doing the stairs.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Stop moving, hey? No, I'm going to jump off the platform again.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
I'm aware.
No. No, no. What are you doing, Stan? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
I'm going to jump off the platform. Bye.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
No.
My God. Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
It's not you. Well, it's not me, it's you.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get a... Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Kind of just teasing you right now.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
Mm-hmm. Is there another way up? You can hear him just giving up. It's getting slower and slower. So, is there another door that I can take? Probably not. Nope. Let's try this one more time. Reset the game, please.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it?
It is.
I'm going back.
Yes, you are. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Okay, I can't do anything on my computer.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Oh, this guy's getting mean. Okay. Okay. Nope. Ah, here we go.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
He did.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Stanley's going downstairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No. Stanley went downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
How'd the
For
car get
example,
here?
why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over.
Okay.
Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
But Stanley was not okay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
This is brilliant.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Huh?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
Nice.
But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Wow. Okay.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay. Don't know why I feel the urge to turn off all these computers. Oh, was it my computer that had it on there? Maybe it was. Okay. Maybe it was. That's okay. I've still got something I want to try.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace? Its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Stanley did not. Oh, there's an elevator. Oh, I want to go up.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Oh my god, that's brilliant. Oh, is it my computer? No, it's not. Okay. Oh, no. This game is sadistic. Oh, it's brilliant. And I love it. I love it so much.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Uh-huh. let's try that again. We'll actually go. Yeah, we're coming back for the new content.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yes, he
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No. I just want to mess with you.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle.
Okay, let's go
But
this way.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Stanley did not. He wants to go across the platform.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Okay. Where is this going?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Tempted to not pick up the phone just to see what he does. Oh, this is good. Oh, no comment on me not picking up the phone yet. That's interesting. Okay.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your damn wall.
Gotcha.
What the?
Come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Oh, what the hell?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Oh, no. Good morning. Employee 427 push. Controller. Wait. Why is my movements getting even more limited? Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
There we go.
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Dear God.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. and so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Oh no.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Uh-huh. But, they're just making me do what Stanley does. Push buttons on command to... Oh. I get the point. Oh, this game is sadistic, and I love it, but...
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he
Hang
began
on.
to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
What does
Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Oh, I can feel this is just going to get crueler and crueler.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
I'm about to wake up in my room, aren't I?
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
If I don't push it, the game won't continue. If I do push it, the narrator, I'm proving the narrator. It'd be like a... I want to push the button. I'm going to push the button. I don't want to... I don't want to prove the game right, but I don't... And, I'm push the button.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
I died. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. And that's it. It's always the same time on the clock too. Interesting. Okay. Okay. What are we gonna do this time? Maybe we should go down that side lift. Try to.